She paid $8 million just to sleep with a stranger after her world shattered. But what she didn't know was that the man she bought for one night had loved her quietly for 10 long years, and he was the CEO she once rejected. Stay till the end, the twist will leave you breathless. Subscribe for more heart-stopping stories like this. When the cameras flashed that night, everyone thought Amelia Vaughn was the luckiest woman alive, the youngest partner in a luxury design empire, the fiancée of tech genius Marcus Hale, the woman who had everything money could buy, but they didn't see the cracks behind her perfect smile, the loneliness buried under diamonds. The betrayal came quietly, like poison in champagne. On her 32nd birthday, Amelia walked into her penthouse to surprise Marcus with dinner, only to find him tangled in silk sheets with her best friend, laughing in the same voice he once used to promise her forever. Something inside her broke so deeply she couldn't even scream. She didn't cry. She just stood there, frozen, staring at the man who'd sworn he'd marry her in spring, and the woman who'd sworn she'd die before hurting her. The next morning, headlines screamed Hale's secret affair, and her phone didn't stop buzzing, not with comfort, but with gossip. She vanished for months, disappeared to Europe, sold her shares, and returned a ghost of herself. Everyone thought Amelia would crumble, but instead she did something insane, something that made even the tabloids gasp. She walked into an elite private auction for the world's richest and most powerful men and women, the kind where fantasies were sold under secrecy contracts and names were hidden, and she paid $8 million for one night with a man she'd never met. The media went wild. "Fallen heiress buys a stranger," screamed the headlines. But Amelia wasn't buying lust, she was trying to destroy the last piece of herself that still hoped for love. She wanted to forget. She wanted to feel nothing. She told herself that one night of madness would erase the pain of betrayal. But what she didn't know was that the man she paid for wasn't a stranger at all. Ethan Cole had been in love with Amelia for 10 years, since their university days, when she used to sit by the library window sketching designs in the light, while he, the quiet scholarship student, worked 3 jobs to survive. He never told her who he really was, that his father owned half of Cole Enterprises, a global tech empire, or that someday he'd inherit it all. She once smiled at him and said, "If I ever make it, I want to design for people who believe in something real." He'd carried those words like a prayer. When she got engaged to Marcus Hale, Ethan stayed silent, watched her on magazine covers, and convinced himself she'd never remember the quiet boy who fixed her laptop in college.
But the night she bid $8 million for him, fate had other plans. Ethan had been dragged into that auction by his friend as part of a charity-masked Billionaire gala, a secret high-stakes game where anonymous donors funded children's hospitals through extravagant bids disguised as exclusive experiences. When Amelia's masked profile flashed on the screen, her eyes hidden behind velvet, her voice trembling but defiant, Ethan recognized her instantly. The moment her bid sealed, his heart stopped. He could have refused, revealed the truth, ended the charade. But something in her voice broke him. The way she whispered, "I don't want love. I just want to forget." That night, in the penthouse where they met, Amelia waited for her purchase to arrive. She was wearing black silk, her hair loose, her soul tired. When Ethan walked in, dressed in a simple black suit, his face half-shadowed by the dim light, she felt something strange: familiarity, warmth, danger. "You can leave in the morning," she said coldly. "No questions." He nodded, silent. But when her hands trembled as she poured wine, he reached out gently, steadying her wrist. "You don't have to pretend," he said softly. She froze. There was something in his voice, a memory tugging at the edges of her grief. "Do I know you?" she asked. "Not anymore," he whispered. She turned away, swallowing the lump in her throat, but tears came anyway. "Why are you being kind to me?" she demanded. "I paid for this. I don't need pity." He looked at her for a long moment. "Maybe I needed this more than you," he said. And in that single night, nothing went as expected. They talked. They laughed through tears. They confessed their fears, hers of being used, his of being invisible. When dawn came, she fell asleep in his arms, not knowing the man she thought she bought had been protecting her long before she ever needed saving. Weeks passed. She tried to forget him, but she couldn't. She found herself searching for his face in crowds, hearing his voice in dreams. Then one morning, she received a letter, no name, no return address, only a note. You believed love was for sale. I wanted to show you it never was. Attached was a check for $8 million, uncashed, with a small drawing she once made in college, a sketch of the library window with the words, "For the one who believes." Shocked, Amelia traced the signature at the bottom, Ethan Cole. The name struck her like lightning. She opened her laptop, searched it, and froze. Ethan wasn't just anyone. He was the CEO of Cole Enterprises, one of the richest men in the country. Her breath hitched. The man she'd paid for was worth billions. But why hadn't he told her? Why give back the money? Confused, she went to confront him, tracking him down at a charity event in New York. When their eyes met across the crowd, time stopped. Why? She asked, tears spilling. Why didn't you tell me who you were? He smiled faintly. Because I didn't want to be another man who thought he could buy you. But that wasn't the last twist. As paparazzi discovered their connection, rumors erupted. Amelia Vaughn seduces billionaire CEO. Her reputation was again torn apart. Ethan's board pressured him to distance himself from her. He refused. The media war exploded. Amelia tried to disappear again, believing she'd ruined his life this time. But fate intervened cruelly when Ethan's car was hit by a drunk driver one night on his way to stop her flight overseas. He was hospitalized, unconscious for days. When Amelia heard, she rushed to him, refusing to leave his side. The world watched as the woman once called cold and scandalous sat day and night beside the man who had loved her silently for years. She whispered, "You loved me before I knew what love meant." One night, as rain hit the hospital windows, Ethan's hand moved, his fingers brushing hers weakly. "You came back," he murmured. She sobbed, holding him. "I'm not leaving again." He smiled faintly. Then I guess $8 million wasn't wasted after all. Months later, when he recovered, Ethan revealed the full truth. 10 years earlier, he had planned to propose to her after graduation, but she was already dating Marcus Hale. He kept his distance, watching her build her empire, proud but heartbroken. When the betrayal broke her, he saw a chance not to own her but to help her find herself again. The auction was fate's cruel joke, but he believed maybe God had given him one more chance to heal the woman he'd never stopped loving. "You paid to forget," he told her, "but I gave you back your heart." They rebuilt their lives quietly. No more headlines, no more scandals, just two souls learning how to breathe again. And when Ethan proposed under the same window where she once drew dreams of a better life, Amelia smiled through tears. "You spent 10 years loving me in silence," she whispered. "Now it's my turn." Their wedding was small, just close friends, no reporters. As they exchanged vows, Ethan slipped a silver ring on her finger engraved with the words, "Not bought, found." The same night, he handed her a folder, the ownership documents to the charity foundation that used to host the secret auction. "From now on," he said, "no one pays for loneliness." They turned that place into a global home for victims of betrayal and emotional trauma, helping others find healing instead of despair. The media called it the miracle auction, because every donation saved a life, every story carried hope. Years later, when a journalist asked Amelia why she'd spent $8 million that night, she smiled softly. "Because I thought I was paying for one night," she said. "But I bought a lifetime." And somewhere deep down, Ethan still believed that sometimes the most expensive thing in the world isn't love, it's the courage to believe in it again. Was